Have you ever wondered what would happen to your home if something unexpected happened tomorrow? Not next year, not 5 years from now. Tomorrow. It sounds like a simple question, but for many homeowners over 60, the answer may be far more complicated than they realize. Imagine a homeowner who spent 30 years paying off a house. Month after month, year after year, they made every payment, maintained the property, paid the taxes, and built up substantial equity. Eventually, the mortgage was gone. The home was finally theirs. They felt secure. They felt prepared. They believed one of the biggest financial responsibilities of their life was behind them. Then an unexpected illness struck, or perhaps a serious accident, or maybe a sudden death that nobody saw coming. And that's when the family discovered something shocking. The house may have been paid off, but the paperwork wasn't. The homeowner had spent decades protecting the property itself, but never fully prepared for what would happen to that property if they could no longer manage it. Most homeowners never realize that owning a home and controlling what happens to that home are two completely different things. That's the hidden risk nobody talks about. Many retirees assume their affairs are automatically organized because they have a paid-off home, a spouse, adult children, or even a basic will. They believe everything will naturally fall into place if something happens. Unfortunately, that's not always how it works. The overlooked detail is that ownership alone doesn't answer critical questions during a crisis. Who can make decisions if you're unable to? Who has access to important documents? Who can manage financial matters related to the property? Who knows your wishes? And what happens if nobody has the legal authority to act when action is needed most? These are questions that often don't come up until families are already dealing with a difficult situation, and many families discover this too late. What's surprising is that these problems don't just affect wealthy people with large estates or complicated investments. They affect ordinary homeowners every day. In fact, the very people who believe their situation is simple are often the ones most vulnerable to unexpected complications. A family may assume they can easily step in and help a parent after a medical emergency. Yet they quickly discover that certain decisions require specific documentation. They may assume important records are easy to find, only to spend weeks searching through drawers, filing cabinets, and boxes. They may assume everyone understands the homeowner's wishes, only to realize family members have completely different interpretations. What starts as a stressful situation can become even more difficult when there is uncertainty, confusion, or missing paperwork. The financial impact can be significant. Legal delays can create expenses. Administrative complications can consume valuable time. Important decisions may be postponed when families need clarity the most. And often these problems could have been reduced or avoided with proper planning. That's why this topic deserves far more attention than it receives. Most people focus on protecting the value of their home. They worry about property taxes, maintenance costs, insurance premiums, and market conditions. Those things matter. But protecting your home's value is only part of the equation. Protecting control over what happens to your home may be just as important. Because the truth is, a home isn't just a financial asset. For many retirees, it represents decades of hard work, sacrifice, memories, and security. Yet without the right documents in place, the future of that asset may not unfold the way they intended. The good news is that there are practical steps homeowners can take. In fact, there are 5 important documents that can help families avoid many of the most common problems that arise during illness, incapacity, or after death. These documents are not just for the wealthy. They are not just for people with complicated estates. And they are not something that should be postponed indefinitely. Because the biggest threat to your home's future may not be a housing market crash, rising taxes, or expensive repairs. It may be the paperwork that never gets completed. And once a crisis begins, creating that paperwork often becomes much more difficult. That's why understanding these 5 documents can be one of the most important steps a homeowner takes to protect both their property and the people they care about. Most people assume these kinds of problems only affect wealthy families. The reality is that ordinary homeowners are often the most vulnerable.